Let's head to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hi, this is Rico. I was just thinking about the AFC North Division as a whole. How extremely difficult on paper it will be to win it. This division has the MVP, the Defensive Player of the Year, the Coach of the Year, the Assistant Coach of the Year, and had Flacco as the Comeback Player of the Year. Then two coaches that are highly regarded as the best in the league, and also two out of the top three running backs over the past few seasons. This division is absolutely loaded, but our Browns have to win the division. It's downright embarrassing that this franchise has a big fat zero next to their name when it comes to division titles. It's time for the Browns to win the North. Thanks. Go Browns.
As always, appreciate all the voicemails. Fred, I think one of the reasons they've struggled is the consistency. Look at the consistency, and the caller alluded to it with Tomlin and Harbaugh.
Well, that's what the Browns are, trying to establish by, extending Barry and Stefanski. You've had them together going in their fifth year now. And that's also in the division. Zach Taylor, I think now the Bengals and their GM have been together, and you put Tomlin and Harbaugh, that it's a stable division. And, it's not the same analogy, but I covered the Cavs the 4 years with LeBron when they went to the finals with Golden State. And I would argue that was the best. Those were the best 4 years, the best Cavs team in history, in NBA history for the Cavs, and maybe even, close to one of the best teams in the NBA. But you had the Warriors that were maybe the best all time during that time. That, if you had kind of what you have going on now in the NBA with that roster, the Browns or the Cavs probably would have won 2 or 3 titles. So with that said, yeah, the division, the Browns haven't won the AFC North since it's been titled the AFC North. I think since 1989. And it is tough. But we know before it was futility. Right now it's because it's good. There's a reason HBO put Hard Knocks in this division, because you got 4 really strong teams, and you could stack them up and make a case 1 to 4. Any one of the teams could win the division. Any one of the teams could get last place. They play 6 games in the division, and that is so important, To win the AFC North, you get a home field advantage. And think last year, if the Browns would have, they only came 1 game from being tied with the Ravens. You can make the case in that 4th game when they played DTR, they would have beat the Ravens there, and everything else played out. They would have been tied with the Ravens, and I think they might have got the tiebreaker. If you would have had a home and had a bye, and the Texans would have come in after playing the first game, who knows what could have happened? You still might have lost, but you've been playing at home, and that team was 8-1 last year, and they were a different team last year, the defense at home. So that's why it's so important to win the division. And I'll say it again, you have to win those games. You have to at least be 4-2, in my opinion, in the division to win the AFC North. And a lot of those games this year are going to be in the second half of the season, down the stretch, and that's when you want to be playing your best. You want Watson to be playing his best. You want, Nick Chubb to be playing his best. And so you want your best players playing at that time. The Bengals were kind of default out of it because of their injury to Joe Burrow, and the Steelers didn't have great quarterback play. They went out and feel they've remedied the situation. Joe Burrow's healthy, and now Deshaun Watson's healthy. So, it's incumbent on them to try the tightrope of staying healthy. But I agree with the caller. You want to win your division. I mean, it sets you up. That's why the NFL did the playoffs the way they do. You get in as a wild card, you're on the road, and you just got to be hot at the right time.